talk a lot about asking better questions. And I think that ties directly to that entrepreneurial mindset has a curiosity that is insatiable. How does that mindset and the idea of asking better questions fuel growth in a company and constant customer discovery?
The skill to work on is how fast, in how much time, and in how many iterations or meetings do you go from situation questions to need provoking questions. You start with what, when, where, and by the time you reach need provoking, you start asking how questions. So you can ask yourself a question: have I understood the problem? More importantly, have I understood the implication of that problem on the customer's business?
We've got to really make use of that time more than we ever have before. Are you feeling that as well? How does that change the dynamics of the arc and how you're asking these questions and making use of that time?
The customer getting to know you is something that they don't have the time for because they already think they know you. Present yourself in a quick jiffy 30-second, 60-second elevator pitch of who you are, what you do, and get into the art of slicing and dicing why the customer's 30 minute can be utilized better. That is when preparation becomes very important. So you're already going with an understanding of where the customer's business is headed. Then the art of jumping into his problem statement at that point of time becomes a much faster exercise.
How do you know and understand deeper than the competitor? How do you get that information? Because everybody can go to their LLM of choice and get the same information.
There were two sources of researching, secondary and primary. In today's world, it's mostly secondary search on your computer, either through search engines or through AI these days. How do you leverage that secondary research by adding primary research? And that is where going the extra mile comes in. Now, what does primary research mean? Have you spoken with anybody in that business who's not your prospect? Have you spoken with anybody who's a supplier, prospect, distributor, customer of that business to learn more about that business? Which is, have you had airtime talking to at least 4 or 5 people about a prospect before you pick up the phone and call the guy or write an email to him? I will engage with them the way I just described. I need to have 50% secondary research, 50% primary research.
We've talked about so much. If there was one thing that you wanted the C suite audience that's going to be consuming this podcast to take away, what's the one thing that you want them to take away from our conversation?
You learn new things to talk those jargons, those terminologies, look at the impact they have on business because that will help you make decisions. But don't stop doing what made you what you have become, which is being with the reps, doing those calls, rolling your sleeves, going and cracking deals. Because until unless you remain to be a player coach, you will just become another cog in the management team.